All right, they say elections are won at the polling stations, but they are witnessed on Joy. Now, on Zoom, joining us for this conversation, John Osai Kwapong, Dr. John Osai Kwapong, as a fellow of CDD, joins us with the civil society perspective.
Right, so let's get right into it. Let's get the conversation started. And it is just 99 days, so I want to start with you, Dr. Bosman Asare. How are you preparing? How is the Electoral Commission prepared for the December 7 elections?
Good morning to your viewers. Let me put it very clearly that the Electoral Commission is fully ready. All the measures that must be put in place to ensure a very successful election, all of them have been put in place. As we speak now, we just completed the exhibition of the voters register. And when you finish that exercise, the onus is now on the Commission to ensure the finalization of the voters register. And as we speak now, we've also recruited almost 200,000 individuals who are going to work for us at all the various polling stations, almost 40,653 polling stations. We've done that. So currently, as we have completed the exhibition, very soon we'll be doing what we call the nominations from the September 9th to September 13th. As soon as we finish with that one, we are going to print what we call the notice of poll, which will indicate the candidates who are going to contest the presidential election as well as the parliamentary elections in all the 276 constituencies of our country, after which we are going to print the ballot papers that we are going to use for the elections. So from the perspective and the standpoint of the Electoral Commission, we are fully ready for a very successful, a very peaceful, a very transparent, a very credible 2024 general elections.
And let me stay with you, Dr. Bosman, for a brief more moment. And there are some issues that have come up from the just completed exhibition exercise. Some votes have been claimed to be transferred from here and there. What is your assessment of that voter exhibition exercise, and how do you intend to fix the issues that have come up?
I think there are many Ghanaians who understand our process, and I believe they try to mislead other Ghanaians. The essence of the exhibition exercise is to correct the register. So when you look at the CI, which governs registration and exhibition, CI 91 as amended by CI 126, Regulation 23 is very clear that after the provisional voters register, after you have compiled the register, the onus is on the Commission to exhibit. And the goal of the exhibition is that we identify problems with the register and we fix them. So all the hula baloo, all the noise being made that, oh, some people have been transferred, these people are here, these people are not there, etc. That is the essence of the exhibition exercise. So if you understand the exhibition, you know that the EC is saying we are displaying the register. Let's identify the problems. Let's report them to the Electoral Commission so that we address the problem. That's why I stated earlier that the Commission is fully ready. Our job now is to do all the corrections.
So for clarity, Doc, how are you going to fix all these issues that have come up? Just for clarity, educate us.
What we do is that all the problems that have been identified, some of them will be addressed at the polling station. And a number of them will also go to our district offices. And others as well may also come to the head office. The most important thing is for the problems to be identified. And we have our internal mechanism to do that. And when we finish with that, we give the registers back to the political parties. So what we have displayed will be corrected and we'll give them back to the political parties. So as far as the EC is concerned, we know that the essence of the exhibition is to unravel the problems that some people have been talking about.
Let's talk about how we are correcting these issues, Dr. Bosman Asare. As we understand it, this has happened because of a bid to reduce long queues at the polling stations. So any station that has more than 700 registered names will have the names.
750 rather.
750, thank you. Right. Now, was there a mechanism to communicate to those whose names are moved?
Mr. Youngson, what we do is this. We have what we call, for our viewers to understand, we have what we call polling stations. And internally, we have what we call voting centers. So assuming a particular polling station has registered more than 750 people, automatically that place will be divided. And when that place is divided, this is the original polling station, or let's say the Panda polling station. This place becomes A, and the B will be where you are. So it's done in such a way that it's the same place. But this is the mother polling station. So this will be Joy FM A, Joy FM B. It's the same polling station. So it's done in such a way that as a registered voter, you are not going to struggle at all to identify that. And we know it's for a purpose, because if you try to move to another area, you may end up disenfranchising certain individuals. So as far as the voters are concerned, this is not an area we've ever had a problem, because the A will be here and the B will be here. And usually when you go, what we do is that the alphabetical listing of the names. So we'll say A to D will be the A. Then beyond that will be the B. So it's done in such a way that we don't have problems with that.
Right. The opposition political party had some complaints about some of the voters saying that they had to travel to another polling station to rectify problems. What about those? What is causing those?
I think, the exhibition is done at the polling station. And during the exhibition, we call those places exhibition centers. We want you to go and check. And one of the prime reasons why we do the exhibition is for you to know where you are going to vote on election day. It's very, very important. So we encourage each and everyone to go to the particular place where you are going to vote so that you identify your polling station. After that, if there are problems you address them at the polling station. And these are some of the problems you can address. For example, your voter's card is damaged and you want it to be replaced. You go to the exhibition center, you will fill a form, then you'll be directed to the district office. You are a male, you've been indicated as a female. You go there, they will make sure that one can be fixed right there. So that's the essence of the exhibition, for people to know their polling stations, to make corrections. So all we are doing is to make corrections. So political parties can only complain after the corrections. We've given you the register, and the registers are still embedded with the problems that were identified. Now the essence is, let's correct the register and let's have a document which will stand the test of time, which will be used for the 2024 elections. So the noise and everything you are hearing for the EC is something which is going well for us.
In terms of correcting these issues that have come up, yesterday I saw, in fact, not even yesterday, 2 weeks ago, one of our colleagues here, in order to educate the public, tried to use the online system, the *75# the USSD code, to verify her details. And as we speak, she hasn't received any details yet. And you collaborated with the telcos in order to afford those who cannot go to the polling stations the chance to also verify their details ahead of the election. So as we speak, those people who fall in that category where they've used that option, but they don't have their details yet, how do you even know to correct these issues?
No, what we do is that, there are network challenges, which we do lately. I think we've been experiencing that. But the point is that I don't know, I don't want to put a figure on it, but when you look at voting since we compiled this register in 2020, almost about 99% of the time, people know that once they've registered, their names are in the voters' register. So it's one of the reasons why, for many Ghanaians, they don't patronize the exhibition exercise. And for the many years I've been at the Electoral Commission, we've never had almost 45% of our people taking part in the exhibition, because people believe that their names will be there. So although some people checked, as you put it, and they couldn't find it, I believe that their details should be intact. But that process...
How would they know?
Oh, certainly, we've displayed the register. That process has not been curtailed. You can still be able to check. But we gave a window. And usually, once we've given a window, by law, what we are supposed to do is that people are supposed to visit the polling stations. And for that one, the EC has satisfied that particular requirement. This is just an appendix, an added-on feature to ensure that those of us who cannot go to our polling stations. So for anyone who really wants to be sure, the onus was on that particular individual to go to the polling station to be sure that your name is actually there.
Mr. Computer, your party has certainly raised a number of issues with the process. You've just heard the explanation from the EC. Satisfied?
We are not satisfied. We are not satisfied. I'm very clear in our mind, and our party is very clear in our mind in the processes leading up to these elections. Look, I'll give you an example. This current Electoral Commission conducted the 2023 District Assembly elections, right? A lot of people went to vote and they didn't find their names. They were holding ID cards. Their names were expunged from the register. We raised the issue as a lot. In fact, almost 26,000 of them. They have the data. At IPAC, we talked about it. And they used their internal mechanism to try to bring back those lists, those names which were expunged from the register. And you saw the limited registration, the problem we had with them in terms of collating the figures from the registration centers. We raised issues about it severally. They went in to correct it. Even the corrections, there were problems in the corrections. This exhibition exercise, they were supposed to give us a register way back as far as back July, because they wrote to us in July that we should bring them external drive. They didn't comply to their own commitment. Even when they told us that we should come and collect the PVR on the 14th of August, we went there, they were not ready. They gave us the PVR on the 19th, 1 p.m., when it was less than 24 hours, to the exhibition exercise. And I went through this, the provisional register. We've identified 5 thematic crises that are embedded in the register. And these thematic crises that we're talking, since 1992, we've been involved in all this process. It's, unprecedented. The issues my good friend, Dr. Bosman, has just enumerated. Yes, when you talk of exhibition, these are the reasons behind exhibition. But as he rightly put it, we have never gotten even more than 40% of Ghanaians going to check their names. And it doesn't mean that because I have not gone to check my name should be taken out from the register. Or you should illegally transfer me from one polling station to another because I didn't come to check my name. So if we hadn't raised these things, only the less than 40 people who have gone to check and every detail is correct, and the rest of the 60% or so who have not gone to check, you have disturbed their data. On the day of the voting, they will come there and they are not going to see their names in those days.
But what can be done about that? They didn't.
I am saying that is why we are major stakeholders in trying to help them to solve this problem. So they shouldn't rubbish it.
How do you propose to help them solve it?
We have written to them. We have taken our time, painstakingly studied the register and the PVR they have given us. Now, if you look at the PVR they have given us, it's smartly different from what they have exhibited at the polling station. We have written to them, and they are yet to see the enormity of the problem we have at hand. We have not even disclosed it. And so my good friend, Dr. Bosman, still doesn't understand the enormity of the issues that we are talking of. People have been illegally transferred without their knowledge. Who does that? Which system, which software are they using that can just say, okay, I have not applied for transfer, yet you have decided to transfer me from one constituency far away from Joy FM polling station to one polling station. I have not applied for any transfer. Which software are you using to do that? These are the issues we are talking about. And we are saying that we are clear in our mind. We want to have this engagement with you, Electoral Commission. We give it to you. It's your data. Let's look at it. Let's bring back all these things. Because people's names cannot just be moved just because of migrating your data from one software to another. That's usual, because we don't have a problem with your 2020 register.
Right. Dr. Computer, so the EC is set to meet you on September 6th. In that meeting, I'm hoping that these issues will be resolved. But what are your expectations going into that meeting?
Our expectation is very clear. We just want the sanctity of our electoral processes to be upheld. And that is why we are bringing these things to them. We are not antagonizing the Electoral Commission. We are only trying to help them to sanitize the register by making sure that all these people who have not been able to come and check their names, you have illegally moved them. You are not supposed to move them. I'll give you another one, which in fact, that one is dear to our heart. When you move people from the main register into exception list, do you know the meaning of that? It means those people cannot vote during general elections. Exception list contains dead people and people whose challenges were successful during the DRC. And so if you expunge their names and put them in exception list, invariably you are telling me that this number of people are not qualified to vote. So if I had not come to check my name during the exhibition to see that my name is in the exception list, and I can now ask that, no, take it away from me, I am alive. I was not challenged. I'm a qualified voter. Remove my name from the exception list and bring it back to the main register. Because I didn't check, you are not aware that I didn't come to check. You still keep it in your mind that they are correct people who have been put in the exception list. December 7th, there will be crisis at the polling stations. Because I'll see I come to vote, holding my ID card, and they say your name is exception list. You are not qualified to vote. Hell will break loose at that polling station. Who caused it? So we have taken time to study this, to help you, to help the Electoral Commission, to see that, look, these names you have put in the exception list, remove them back. They are not supposed to be in the exception list. They are not dead people. They were not challenged at the registration centers. Remove their names. Or those who are challenged and their challenge were successful, their names are still in the main mother register, main one. Remove them back to multiple and their exception list.
Dr. Komita, hold on. Dr. Bosman, was that an intentional move or is just by accident? What happened there?
No, I explained that the essence of the exhibition is to correct the register. That's the essence. So we expect the parties, we've given the registers to the parties. Individuals are supposed to go and check. So if you go to the center and your name is supposed to be on the main list and it's here, your job is to tell us. And as an institution, when we are finalizing the register, we go through all the list to be sure that anyone who is on the multiples list is supposed to be there. Anyone who is on the exceptions list is supposed to be there. That's what we do to put a finality to the register. So all the things he mentioned, those are the procedures the commission will follow to ensure that if Mr. Owusu-Mensah is in the exceptions list, we need to be sure that he is supposed to be there. So all these are the processes we will do. And he also mentioned some illegal transfer. And if he mentions that, oh, the EC is responsible, that's you are misinforming the public. Because we heard recently that in Tamale, somebody went around to collect some people's ID cards for such a purpose. So when you sit here and you say the EC is responsible for that, then it's clearly you are misinforming the public.
Can you explain that again? Somebody collected...
No, I think a report came recently that some people have been illegally transferred from Tamale South
to somewhere in the northern parts.
To Pusiga.
Yeah.
And someone went around, the police has arrested the persons involved, collecting their voters' cards. And as an institution, that has come to us. So our job is to investigate and know what actually transpired so that the needful will be done. And it's the reason why I explained that the essence of the exhibition is to identify these problems and address. So all the problems you have enumerated, the commission is seriously and urgently working on them. And we believe that we are going to produce a document as we did in 2020, which will be good for the 2024 general elections.
Right. Let me come to you, Dr. Abu Sakara. How confident are you in the Electoral Commission as we speak for them to deliver a credible, free and fair election come December 7th?
I think clearly all these issues being raised are part of a process of elevating the integrity and also the level of what I would say performance of the Electoral Commission. Having said that, they're not peculiar to any one of us. All of us are involved in the race. So the issues are that every point that we bring up, when it is taken care of, it ensures that we are all running that exact same 100 meters in the race without bias towards one person or the other. So we are all interested in these points that he has raised, and I hope that they will be corrected. But there's also a difference between problems and infractions. In the case of this point, where somebody has collected people's voters' cards, I can collect voters' cards. I can't effect the transfer unless there's an electoral commissioner involved. Are you with me? So who is that person? Why hasn't that person been named? What was the mechanism by which those transfers were effected? Those are the things that give confidence in the electoral process, that it's not just deemed as a problem, because there are some things that are technical problems, and there are some things that are intentional infractions. And the dealing with the intentional infractions helps boost the confidence a lot more. So we want answers to how that process happened, who was responsible for it, and how that person has been dealt with. Now, we have our own peculiar situation as an independent group, that is to say, an independent presidential candidate. And we also want fairness in this process. The Electoral Commission cannot be its own referee. We are the contestants. You cannot say, I've done well, it's successful. We are the ones who will say, you have done well or it's successful, and the observers. So at the beginning, if my two colleagues here have access to the electoral register, and because I'm an independent, I don't have access to the electoral register. How is that a fair contest?
Do you not have access to the register?
Independents don't have access to the electoral register. Are you with me? And the question we are asking is, all these people are contestants in the race. So why should some have access to the electoral register and others not have access to the electoral register? That is point number one. So we want that corrected. If you say that, oh, we didn't know how many people were going to be involved, then we say, then review your process. So that if you want to be an independent presidential candidate, you must give notice 1 year before. Are you with me? And we prepare for you. But in any case, this is an electronic process. The same 5 minutes it takes for him to copy it for him, he can copy it for me. Are you with me?
Did you request for the a copy?
Of course, we've requested for it. And I think Dr. Bosman knows that independents are not given the electoral
So Dr. Bosman, what happened?
I haven't finished
okay,
yet.
you land on
Are
it.
you with me?
Yeah.
So that is point number one. We are all going to pay the same fee to get the same service. So we should not be shortchanged. And this is an essential part of fairness in the race. The second point I want to make is that the Electoral Commission decides how the balloting is done. So it says that the political parties will be balloted first and the independent presidential candidates balloted second.
Yeah.
Which means that the probability of you having a particular position on the ballot is skewed because 3 or 4 are already, slots are already removed at the top, and then it means that you are going to go at the bottom somewhere. If that is the starting line for voting, how can you ask the independents to start 10 meters behind? Are you with me? So everybody should have the same opportunity for slotting in the ballot box. And the reason I say this is this. We know, just as the Electoral Commission itself has evolved over time, the political parties and in the political landscape will also evolve in time. When have you ever had 19 independent candidates? It tells you one thing, that the general public have less trust in the bipartisan system and a duopoly and are looking for another alternative. And this is normal. Even in political science, we know that in a duopoly, eventually there's stagnation and new things happen. Either the duopoly, the political parties themselves transform themselves and do a Moses transmogrification, or that, other new entities evolve. And if you look at all the political democracies, you've never had 2 particular parties that have been there forever and ever and ever. It doesn't happen. Even in Ghana, the current NDC and MPP were not there at the beginning.
Right.
Are you with me?
Yes.
So it tells you that that process evolves. That being the case, the Electoral Commission, being the referee, should ensure that during the process of that evolution, it also adapts its processes, etc., to give all the contestants a fair chance. So we are saying that in this election, we would want to ensure that, one, as of tomorrow, all the independent candidates are given the electoral register.
As of tomorrow?
So that, so that when he complains and I complain about the same thing, we'll see the frequency of complaints. If 19 people have complained about the same thing, then it must be correct, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah. Secondly, we'll want the opportunity on the ballot box for the balloting that anybody can choose any number, not that some particular spaces are reserved for some particular groups at a particular time. So this, for the time being, are my main issue. I have other issues, but for now it's enough.
Right.
Dr. Bosman, it seems rather glaring oversight. Why are the independents not in possession of copies of the voters' register?
Mr. Jansen, that's not a glaring oversight. I don't know if Mr. Jansen is an independent candidate. Are you one?
I think you know I'm not.
I think he mentioned about 19 people.
It's about 20-something
About 20.
Yeah.
We don't know the people who have collected. And until you go through the nomination process and you are successful, the commission cannot guarantee whether you are a candidate for the election or not. So as we speak now, things can change and Mr. Jansen can decide to become an independent
But none of the leading parties has a candidate as of this time. They're aspirants.
Doc, the difference is
until
that
they're registered, they're
these
aspirants.
are registered political parties. So that's why at the IPAC level, we deal with registered political parties. And when we were beginning the nomination process, we wrote to the political parties and we gave them their codes. For those who want to contest as independent, we told them, come to our office. Well, we don't know them. And there is no guarantee that if Mr. Jansen collects the code today, he will even come there to go and file. So as an institution, we will only know them after they've gone through the nomination process. And once they become candidates, every engagement with candidates, they are part.
But you agree that that does create an uneven playing field. So there is a need for a solution here, isn't there? Something to level things up so that in the absence of actual filing, which hasn't happened for anyone, every person can still have access to the register. And in any case,
no, you can write to the commission. You can, if for the register, it's allowed.
But he said they have actually
no,
requested.
we need to check, but it's allowed once you write to the commission as an interested party, because the register is not a private document.
I was going
the
to say
register it's a public document.
Also, if you come with our letter tomorrow, you can give it. Oh, very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
It's a public document. So interested parties can, and we know people even collect they don't even open the document. So once you write to us.
Haruna Mohammed, Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, do you have any concerns at all on the Electoral Commission's ability to deliver a free, credible, fair election come December 7, amidst of all the issues that the other parties are raising?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I would like to say good morning to Charit's viewership and listeners on Joy FM and my colleague panelists on the show. I hope and believe that the NDC will wake up from their slumber this time. My good brother, we're all coming from Tamale, and I think that they will do a better job this time. I've listened to submissions from my co-panelists on this particular discussion, and I believe that the elections in Ghana are governed by rules, and the laws that governs elections in Ghana are very paramount and supreme. And we as a party are very mindful of the fact that the laws are things that we need to follow, and procedures are very key when it comes to elections. We have had a number of issues that we need to be resolved, and we've taken these issues through the appropriate courtesies by writing and having engagement with the Electoral Commission. We have disagreed with them on a number of issues. The laws do not say that when you disagree with the Electoral Commission. Just for clarity,
I want to follow you. What's
the issues? The laws do not say when you disagree with the Electoral Commission, you should come out and do a press conference. The laws clearly tells you the procedure, either you write or you engage with them. I've had a discussion about the transfer of voters. I think that my brothers are trying to throw dust into the eyes of the citizens of Ghana. Please, when you have to win an election, you don't cause chaos or misinform. Misinformation is very dangerous to a democracy. There is a law that governs transfer of voters, and this is CI 127. When you go to Regulation 22, my brother is aware. He has been a director of elections for the Northern region for a long time before coming to the national level. You know that transfer of voters list is contained in Regulation 22 of CI 127. And it reads, a registered voter who before an election is resident for not less than 12 months in a constituency other than that in which the registered voter is registered may apply to the returning officer of the constituency where the returning officer is resident for the name of the registered voter to be entered on the transfer voters list of a polling station. How can Electoral Commission sit down and then transfer somebody if the person did not go through this procedure? We've had these discussions with you. You can disagree with the Electoral Commission, but this is the procedure.
So how do those 26,000 people disappear?
We cannot even verify that. This is just mere saying. Remember, the NDC has told us that they have won elections. They went to court. When they asked them for the results, they did not have any results. They have said a number of things that when you follow them, and then they cannot justify them. Please let us protect the sanctity of this democracy.
Wait, you're saying that they invented the 26,000 missing.
Can we verify that?
No, that must mean that you believe it's a lie. It's not.
But that is the NDC.
Okay, I can put this in context.
We finished the district level elections, right? You covered the elections. Did you hear 26,000 people went and did not find their names?
Right, so that's...
Did you hear that? This is a media station.
Haruna.
So we don't want you to play on the emotions of the people of Ghana. We need to protect the sanctity of this election. You can disagree, but let us be very factual and let us stay true to the rules of the game.
Speaking of facts, I want to put something in context for you. I mean, forget about what they're saying, whether it's a lie or not. I want to
but I'm worried because it's playing.
So yesterday, it's okay. Yesterday, a colleague of ours in the Joy newsroom showed me something that his wife registered at a particular polling station, at a particular center.
Yes.
And in her bid to verify her details ahead of the December election, she went to that particular station to verify her details. When she went there, she could not find her details at that center. She was asked to go to a certain place within the same constituency, but about kilometers away from where she registered. And she did that. She registered where she did because she's a busy woman. She wants to be able to move from work, go and vote, and then come back to work and, carry on with her life. Now, this is somebody, if she hadn't gone to that particular polling station to verify and gotten the feedback that her vote had been moved to somewhere where she had no knowledge of, she wouldn't know on the day of election that she wouldn't be able to vote there. So that is one case for you. I cannot confirm what the NDC is saying, but that is one issue. And I've seen a lot of comments on social media about people also saying the same thing. So it can't all be a lie, can it?
See, if you open the Constitution of the Republic, 1992 Constitution, it gives the right to us as citizens to be registered, right? If you don't take the right, you cannot enjoy the right to vote, right? So the Constitution has given you a right to register and has given the power to the Electoral Commission to open up a center for you to register. The same Constitution has allowed Electoral Commission to enact a law, which is the registration, Public Election Registration of Voters Regulation 2016. And it has given them the power again to enact another law, which is Public Election Regulation, the one that is for registration, one for elections. The Electoral Commission is mandated to register you. They know that Electoral Commission could, in the process of registration, commit an error or does something that is contrary to what maybe a registration process has taken. Then they commissioned into the regulation and they went and clearly indicated Regulation 23, exhibition. You move to sub-regulation 26, settling claims and objections on provisional register. Settling claims and objections. So you look at 25, which is claims and objections after publication of provisional register of voters. So there is clearly procedure. Yes, it's unfortunate that there will be misplace of data, but you are clearly giving a rule based on the laws as to how to address them. So if you don't go through the process to address them, it is you, not the commission.
Alhaji Mohammed, do you recognize that our reality is that less than 40% of voters actually do what you're saying?
Because
And in line of that, it then becomes the responsibility of the Electoral Commission to ensure that errors, especially errors that you've identified, you set up systems to ensure they can't happen again. They can't happen to others. So if we have even 2 people complaining that I've been moved without my knowledge, there's clearly a glitch that must be corrected, is there not?
You see, I have followed this election process for some time now. Internally, there was a registration that was done for some people. The equipments the registrations were done, that was in 2020, and then they were moving them from one center to the other. Registration was done in another center. The next day, the registration was to move to a different center. When they came, the code for that particular polling station was not changed. They started with the previous code, and they registered the people into that particular polling station. So it became obvious. Errors can happen. Right? We cannot take it away. But there has because of that errors, it has been envisaged that there should be a procedure. If, let's say, my father has sent me to school, and then I went to the school took me through all the processes I've gone through, I've learned, I've studied, and I decide not to go to write the exams, am I going to blame the school? It is your right for you to go and write the exams before you can ask for your results or even what is going to be displayed. So if it is that you have registered, and then because we say 40% always go to check their names, if your name is not there, then it is the commission. It is you, because it's your responsibility to go. That is how it is. That is the law. If you want to stay true and to let your vote count and to have access, go through all the procedures. That is how it is.
Right. Let's engage Dr. John Osai Kwapong on Zoom, and he's a fellow of the Center for Democratic Development. Doc, it's good to have you join the conversation. I mean, looking at how important, absolutely pivotal this election is to our democratic development and the conversations and issues coming up now, how ready would you say we are for December 7th? Please unmute if you can hear me, Doc. Okay, he's having challenges right now, and we'll come back to him in a bit.
But one, they are even fortunate to get the register on the 19th. When we went to sign for the register, they had already signed and picked their register. Before we picked, they had already picked it and left. That's
okay. Dr. Bosman, I mean, when these issues come up, it's not just the political parties or opposition that have concerns. As voting population, ordinary citizens, when you wake up and you read these stories in the newspapers, on online blogs, it doesn't really inspire confidence in you, inspire confidence in the Electoral Commission to deliver on their mandate. How do you intend to change the mindset of people who've already been sold on that path that the Electoral Commission is compromised?
No, we at the Electoral Commission believe that once we engage the people, they understand our processes very, very well. For example, my brother, Dr. Tanko, was saying, we didn't give the register to them until the last minute. When you look at the CI 91 Regulation 22, it talks about giving the provisional voters register to the political parties not later than 3 months after the end of the compilation of the register. And the 2024 registration, we ended on May 29th. So what it means is that it's not even 3 months. We wrote to them to bring, thinking that we could get it very, very early. So from our perspective, we know that the citizens believe in the work we do. Because in 2020, we had similar challenges, similar concerns were raised by the NDC. And anyone who has followed our democracy will clearly point to the fact that in 2020, the Electoral Commission did well, to the extent that observers from the international community, the EU, African Union, ECOWAS, etc., they gave the Commission almost 95%. And as an institution, we even want to do better than what we've done in the past. That's why we've been hammering that the problems we've identified in this exhibition exercise, they are the sort of problems we're anticipating. We go back to the drawing board. We have almost some few weeks. We are going to ensure that all these things are corrected. So the example you gave, it was important the person went to the polling station to identify that. And my colleague was mentioning the law anticipates that some of these skirmishes will happen. That's why, although you registered in 2020, you voted in 2020, the law still requires a check and ensure that your name is there. And as an institution, as Mr. Jansen pointed out, we want to be sure that anyone who is a registered voter, your name is in the register. You know what happened in 2020? When we go through the process, we noticed that there were some 500 people. We couldn't identify their biometrics, but we knew their polling stations. So we sent the various names to all the polling stations. In case these people came around to go and vote, they will go through the manual verification process. And that's what we want to do. And as you were talking about inspiring confidence, when you look at our processes, when we are registering, we do with the political parties. When we are doing the exhibition, the parties are aware. Although they are allowed to send their agents there, they decide not to do that. After this process, we are going to do what we call the nominations. After the nominations, we are going to be printing the notices of poll. Dr. Tanko is aware when we are printing, all the parties are there. When we are printing the ballots, all the parties are there. When we are transporting the ballots, all the parties are there, including security. So our system is so transparent and you can easily predict. Everything is transparent. When we are sending the ballot papers to the polling stations, the parties are there. So as a commission, we believe our reputation is on the line and want to do better than what we did in the past. So we will continue to ensure that we work with all the parties so that we have a very credible election. And we think that the presence of the party serves as a serious check on our work. We want to make sure that the right things are done. And the work you do at Joy FM, you want to maintain a standard. The commission wants to do much, much better so that Ghana will continue to be known as a beacon when it comes to democratic elections. That's what we want to do.
Thank you, Dr. Bosman. And this is a question I want to throw to the three reps from the various political parties here. Some of the concerns...
The independent candidates party.
But very much a rep, please.
We're a political entity who represent the same Ghanaians the political parties are representing.
Great.
And if we win, we'll be the same president for all Ghanaians. So this should be taken seriously.
Yes. And I mean, it's a question on your manifestos. You were, in fact, the first to launch one, the Great Transformational Plan. I was part of the MPs for that.
No. The first to launch a manifesto is the MPP. Nobody.
We launched.
The Alliance launched the Great Transformational Plan.
You launched
months before
it's not manifestos or youth manifestos.
But let's do this.
The substance is not in the time. Yes. It's in the content.
I'll take that.
Yes.
I'll let you for a few seconds and then I'll ask the
seconds. Look, reading the CI 91 as amended by 126, my brother is very clear. He should have read the enabling regulations. You don't do transfer in absentia. Nobody does transfer in absentia. You don't do transfer because somebody is holding ID cards and brought you a bunch of ID cards, do transfer, and you sit in your office comfortably and transfer them. Is that what the CI says? You are reading CI telling me how transfer. Transfer says that I should appear before the returning officer in the constituency. Is that not what you read? But what we are talking about is illegal transfer. Somebody has brought a bunch of ID cards to you in the office, and you transfer them. Is that what the CI says? That is what we are referring to. The issue in Tamale. The people ID cards were collected by a crooked person.
But Dr. Zanko, he's saying that they would investigate.
That is what I'm saying. That yes, it's an issue that we are saying that it's one of the issues that is affecting their registration, and we are talking about it. And quickly, look, regulation about provisional register, regulation 22.1, what Dr. Bosman was referring to is referring to the Electoral Commission. It's not saying that give the register to political party 3 months, within 3 months. The register is saying that the commission shall not later than 3 months.
After.
Later than 3 months from the end of the registration period, compile a provisional voter register in the country stating the ages and all that, and showing the photograph of the application for registration was accepted at the registration center. That's what they are referring to you. Then they are saying that when you do this completion, the two, at the end of the completion of the provisional register, as provided in sub-regulation 1, a copy of the provisional register shall be given to each registered political party in the form determined by the commission. So clearly, the regulation is not saying that give it to us 3 months after you have done the completion. Within 3 months, when you finish your compilation. So we are asking you, when did you finish the compilation? Because you wrote to us on 18th July. Bring your external drive. Okay. Presumably, you would have finished compilation and register. And you're just bringing the mop up. And then to cap it all, Dr. Bosman, your commission should do Ghanaians a favor by stop issuing certain statements. When we wrote to you and asked that we want to have a meeting with you, you wrote back to us, accepting that on the 6th of September, we should come and have this engagement. Quickly in the evening, you issue a statement saying that your register is credible and it can be used for a purpose and they should ignore all that. Is this register credible? Why did you display that register for exhibition? For people, are you not telling us corrections and all these things should be done?
Okay.
That tells you that register has a problem that needs to be corrected before you can
Time's up and you've made the point.
And so
I'll give you some few seconds. I see you want to respond, but we need to get on phone and speak to someone from Kodeo. So just a quick reflection and then we get on phone. Yeah.
I think there's two key issues. First of all, what we're trying to do is improve the system. The individual events and how it affects individuals are one thing, but it's the system. If that is the case, then we must propose solutions, and those solutions must be acted upon. So in the case of people not being aware, why can't we have bulk messaging so that people can receive the message on their phone that you have been transferred to this location? then that way I'll come and verify, or I'll be satisfied with the bulk transfer. In fact, the very first time I voted in the UK, I didn't even know, I got a message and I went there. Are you with me? The second part of it is that the date after compilation should not be the operative date. It should be a certain period to the point of election where you should receive the electoral register. Are you with me? Because that is the period in which you have to act. So we can look at the laws and change it.
Right.
The laws are always there. The final point I want to make is that my two colleagues here, are you with me, have been in government for 16 years each. And the problems that we keep talking about, when they're in government, they see it with a different lens. Today, he's busy defending Electoral Commission, reading laws.
No, I take exception.
And then,
I'm speaking the law.
Next, you're reading laws.
The law, yes.
You're reading laws.
If anything, he's defending the law, not the Electoral Commission. Yeah.
And he too, the very same things that he criticized, he endorsed in government, he's today criticizing. And that is why we say you must have fundamental reforms to give that confidence in the Electoral Commission that there's no bias. And each one of them in their 16 years has not had the audacity to say that, look, independent constitutional bodies must not be appointed by the president. We should have another alternative mechanism where the head of the Electoral Commission can be appointed independent of the president. That way, he's not seen to be a referee in anybody's side, because a lot of this is also suspicion, you know, because you are not the one who appointed the referee. So we should be making corrective measures.
Dr. Sakara, thank you.
That's why
I'll give you a few seconds.
The content of their manifesto, and not the time they're released. It is in here.
Aruna, a few seconds, and here we go.
I have a problem. They are all talking about register. There's no register, as we sit now. Per the laws, there's no register.
There's a provisional register.
There's a provisional register. But the Constitution of the Republic talks, when it says register, it is a certified register. So if you are talking about the register is not credible, when it is not existent, it's not just existent. So let's situate our discussions into the provisional register. Right. He's talking about let's even clap for the Electoral Commission. If the 3 months he's talking about, Electoral Commission finished registration somewhere in August, this month. And they had 3 months. They had 3 months to use to compile a provisional register. By 19th of this, the same August, they are exhibiting a provisional register. So I think that the Electoral Commission has demonstrated enough that they will be able to do. They can have errors. We will confront them with that. What I will call on the Electoral Commission to do is that let's always stay true to the rules of the game. When we're going to do the registration of voters, we needed to have received people who were going to supervise the registration within a time frame. We didn't get that. We also needed these registers within some particular time frame for exhibition. We didn't get that. I want to call on the Electoral Commission to make sure that documentation and presentations to parties are given to us on time.
All right,
but as parties too, we must be mindful of how we tag the Electoral Commission, because we have taken a certain procedure and posture from 1992 to date. We have disagreed with the Electoral Commission on a number of times. We have made proposals, and when we wrote the stolen verdict, it changed the electoral process in this country. It changed it completely. The current biometric register system that we are using is as a result of our championing democratic credentials. You can also do that. You cannot just always run to Facebook and write electoral elections director, you go and write.
I needed to land on that point for me.
It doesn't make sense.
Now, joining the conversation on phone is Albert Kofi Ahin, the National Coordinator for the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers. Thank you so much for joining the conversation, Albert. How would you say we are preparing, or how prepared are we with 99 days to the elections? How is Ghana? How would you assess our preparedness to the December elections?
Thank you very much. And my regards to the gentleman in the studio, and greetings to your listeners. So far as preparations are concerned, I'm not privy, for example, to the procurement that have been done by the EC, but I believe by now a lot of all the essential items for the elections must have been either procured or they are in the process of being procured, especially those ones that are coming from overseas, like the indelible link, the pull-through seal, and anything that cannot be gathered in Ghana, that we cannot buy from Ghana. By now, about 100 days to the election, all these items that are to be coming from abroad should be ready. And then again, we have the registers that are being exhibited. They were just exhibited. And I believe the exhibition is also to say that all corrections to do with people who registered are being done and made ready for the registration exercise. So what I would say is that even though I don't have a brief of what the EC has done up to date, I can conveniently say that by now, everything with regards to procurement, both local and abroad, must be ready. The EC itself must be ready because the timetable has come out a long time ago. So with this, I'm sure the road will be very clear for elections to proceed on the 7th of December.
Thank you so much, Mr. Albert Kofi Ahin. That's the National Coordinator for the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers. Kojo.
Yes, well, you're still with us for this live and special simulcast of our marking of 99 days to the 2024 election. We're live on Joy FM and on the Joy News channel, and there's a lot more to come with our panelists. Stay with us. We're back after these.